All right, good evening, everybody. My name is Shane Jackman. I'd like to welcome you to tonight's webinar. I am going to be introducing to you to my Accelerator Halo, the nation's most powerful debt acceleration elimination program on the market today. Okay, so my name is Shane Jackman. I have a very large background in helping tens of thousands of families of becoming debt free, and then also helping people to establish the road to wealth creation. I mean, because at the end of the day, we all want to live happy, healthy, independent, and free. And that's something that we're going to talk a lot about today. And this class tonight is going to be really more educational. I want to educate you the difference between simple interest and compound interest. You see, because the more that we understand interest, the more that we could learn how to cancel it. Because the main thing is we need to regain control from the banks. Okay, so I want everyone right now to please grab a pen and paper. I see that we have a lot of people still logging on to tonight's webinar. So while they're doing that, just please grab a pen, grab a piece of paper, and feel free to take notes. And also at the end, write down any questions that you may have. Okay, so please make sure you're in a quiet place right now. Close the door if you have any children in the background, because the information that you're going to hear today ultimately will change your financial future. Okay, so in just a couple short seconds, we're going to go ahead and get started. While everyone's logging in, if you take a look at the right-hand side of your computer screen, you will have a control panel to the webinar. In that control panel, you will see that you have the ability to raise and lower your hand. I just want to make sure that everyone's able to hear me nice and clear this evening. So for everyone that can hear me nice and clear, please raise your hand for me. All right, excellent. I see some hands going up. Fantastic. All right, well, let's just go ahead and get started. Okay, now the main thing is our society is drowning in debt. I know a lot of us were affected by the economy ever since 2007. We've lost our homes. A lot of us are doing great successfully or financially. But the main thing is do we truly know where we're headed financially? Do we know where we're going to be in 5, 7, 10, 20 years from today? Well, in most cases, the answer is no. Okay, so I have this powerful system here that will be able to guide you, just like a GPS in a vehicle. It will guide you turn by turn to make sure that you never have to worry about finances and that you're able to pay off all of your debt in a fraction of the time. So let's just take a look at that for a second. When I say all of your debt, a lot of people are just thinking, well, my auto loan, my credit cards, etc. But I'm talking about the entire big picture. So whether if you have a 30-year mortgage, maybe you're a real estate investor and have 20 or 30 properties in your portfolio. Or maybe you just have some auto loans, credit card debts, and student loans. The main thing is that we're going to establish and create a mathematical financial plan to be able to eliminate all this debt, including your 30-year mortgage, in as little as 6 to 10 years on your current budget without changing your lifestyle. Now, one thing I wanted to go over really fast while it's still fresh in our memory is that my previous slide showed that there was an NBC News clip. Okay, you saw that logo there. Well, Jim Snyder from the Saving You Money team at MSNBC News Reports heard of the program, sounded too good to be true. And it kind of does, doesn't it? To be able to pay off a 30-year mortgage and all of our debt in 6, 7, 8 years without changing our lifestyle. Sounds a little far-fetched, but ladies and gentlemen, it is absolutely possible because I've already assisted tens of thousands of homeowners just like yourself and investors in achieving that financial success of complete home ownership to where they're now able to live happy, healthy, independent, and free. Now let's just talk about what Americans are doing at age 85, or excuse me, 65. Okay, well, first of all is that most people are drowning in debt. We live our lives with mortgages because that's the way that we were taught. Okay, so first of all, I just want to go over some statistics here, is that 74% of Americans at age 65 are dependent on their family, their friends, and the government. Also, 23% are in fact still working, and only 3% are financially free. Okay, now I've been in this career for about 8 years now, and I have met with thousands and thousands of people, and a lot of people that should very well be retired, that are in their mid 70s or even later, that still have a 30-year mortgage. Okay, that is definitely a challenge. Because think about it, if you're able to be debt free, and for those of you that are on this webinar tonight that may be younger couples, what have you, and you have children that may be in elementary school or whatever it may be, just think if you were completely debt free, what kind of possibilities are going to open up to be able to offer your children a better lifestyle, a better education? And how is that going to change your financial planning for retirement? The main thing is we need to regain control of our finances from the banks and ultimately create our own financial economy. Okay, now I want to talk about refinancing. The average person refinances every 5 to 7 years. What that means is that we're starting over a brand new amortization schedule, which I'm going to show you in great detail here during this call. Okay, so every time that we refinance, maybe pull some equity out, that means that we're starting over an amortization schedule. And for those of you that have a mortgage, have you ever noticed in your mortgage statement that just seems like you're making all these huge payments, but it seems like the debt is really not going away? And same thing with your credit cards. Okay, the reason why is that mortgages are front end loaded with pure interest. That means over 90% of your mortgage payment is going straight to the bank's pockets and profits, and a very small amount is actually going toward the principal of the loan balance. The average homeowner will pay in their lifetime approximately 45 to 50 years of mortgage payments. Okay, so this is something that we definitely need to gain control over, and we need to put on the brakes. We need to get the word refinance out of our vocabulary. Some people focus on interest rates, but depending on where you're at in your amortization schedule, will mathematically tell you if it makes sense to refinance or not. Even though the interest rate may be higher and you can take advantage of a lower interest rate, but if you're 10 years into your mortgage, that means you have a lot more going to the principal than interest, unlike the beginning of the loan. Okay, and then also the average homeowner will pay approximately $1 million in mortgage and interest payments. Okay, so obviously we have a lot of money going out, and it seems like we don't have control. My job is I'm going to help you to regain control. I'm going to help you to put that money that we're giving to the banks freely in interest back into your family's household. Very, very important and extremely powerful. But in order to do so, the first step is we need to understand interest. We need to understand the difference between simple interest and compound interest. One person in particular that understood it, along with many other things, is Albert Einstein. So understanding interest. Interest. Those who understand it, they earn it. Those who don't are doomed to pay it, which means that we repeat that cycle over and over and over throughout our lifetime until we reach the age of 65, reach the age of 80. And guess what? We're still stuck with a 30-year mortgage. Now, what I want to go over with you right now is a truth in lending disclosure statement. I want you to understand what this really means. Okay, so this class today is going to be based on a $200,000 mortgage amortized over a 30-year period at a 6% interest rate, which is going to put our monthly mortgage payment at $1,199.10. Now, did you realize over the life of the loan that you'd be freely giving the bank an additional $231,677.03 just in interest? And remember, this is what they call 6% interest. So the question I really have for you is, are we paying 6% or are we paying over 100% interest? So that means the real cost of our $200,000 home is $431,677 if we follow traditional money management methods. Okay, absolutely unbelievable. So I'm going to give you a basic example. This is not what our powerful program is about, but I want to give you an example on how it's possible, why it's possible, just so you could wrap your mind around the basics here. Okay, so I'm just going to take a sample family here with that same exact mortgage at 200,000 at 6%. Well, this family, they made their very first mortgage payment. They just purchased their home. Now let's just say it was tax season and they received their tax return, and that they chose to invest their $5,000 into the principal of their home. Well, what happens is that reduces the principal loan balance from $200,000 down to $195,000. And what's excellent about that is that we're no longer paying compound interest on the $5,000. So what does that really mean? It means two important things. We save time and we save money. Okay, so let's take a look exactly how much time and how much money we save. Okay, so we reduced our mortgage from the 30-year time frame, which is 360 months, down to 337 months. So just by applying $5,000 to the principal, we reduced our mortgage by 23 mortgage payments. It's absolutely huge. Okay, so how much interest did we save? Now, if you remember, the original interest paid traditionally over the life of the loan is $231,677. The new interest paid, since we're no longer paying compound interest on the $5,000 that we paid down in the principal, is going to be $203,373. So that gives us a grand total of $28,304 minus our investment, which means our total return is $23,304 in interest savings, not to mention the fact that we basically fast forwarded through our mortgage by 23 months. Now, the challenge is this, and by a raise of hands, I'd like to see it in the little chat box here. I just love participation here. I would like to see a raise of hands. How many of you have $5,000 that you could apply every single month toward the principal of your mortgage? Okay, that answers it. No hands got raised. Okay, so this is the solution. We will achieve these exact same results on your current budget without changing your lifestyle. I don't expect for you to understand it yet, but you will have the opportunity to to understand all of it. Okay, so my Accelerator Halo will guide you to achieving these results, paying off all of your debt entirely. But for the purpose of tonight's call, because of the lack of time I have to spend with you, I'm really going to just focus on mortgage, give you some facts, something to think about, because I'm going to answer all of your questions and educate you much further at a later date. So let's continue to work on understanding interest and what the bank is really doing with our money. So I'm going to introduce you to the amortization schedule. If you look at your loan package when you first purchased your home, you will have a many-page document, which is the amortization schedule. It shows how the lender is applying your mortgage payment every single month, month after month, year after year. So this family, they made their first mortgage payment, $1,100. $1,200 basically, and the lender applied $1,000 to interest and only $199.10 to the principal. That's what I mean. Over 90% of your mortgage payment is going straight to the banker's pockets in pure profit. Okay, so that means our hard-earned money isn't really having much effect at paying off this huge loan. And if you take a look at month 2, the only difference that our hard-earned money is making is only about $1. $1 less to interest, $1 more to principal. Month 3, $1 less to interest, $1 more to principal. And that happens month after month for 360 months. 30 years is a long time. None of us know where we're going to be in 30 years. But you know what? If we can eliminate all of our debt, and let's just say in 6, 7 years, now think of the possibilities. Okay? I'm just going to fast forward here. At year 5, we had have already paid $71,946 to the lender. They only applied $13,000 and change. It's really not fair. You see, a mortgage is front end loaded with pure interest. Okay, that's the kicker. The banks want their profit first, and you never actually pay your 6% interest until your 360th mortgage payment. When you make your last mortgage payment, that's where 6% of that payment is actually going to interest. So now, did you realize it takes 21 years before your mortgage is halfway paid off? I mean, common sense says, well, let's see here, 30 years, that must mean at 15 years it's halfway paid off. Unfortunately, it's one of the largest misconceptions. It takes 21 years before your mortgage is halfway paid off. So we've already forked out $302,000 to the lender, and they applied only $100,000 to the principal of the loan balance. Until finally, if we're fortunate enough, we hit the 30-year mark, we have now paid $431,000 for a $200,000 home without thinking twice, because we're just basically playing follow the leader. The bank's the leader. That means that we have paid $231,000 in interest. Now, I don't know about you, but I know what I've been through. I have been following this program for years. And you know what? That $231,000 is that could be used in so many different things. College education, your financial planning for retirement, real estate investment. There's so many things that you can do with your money than just freely give it away. And that's why you're on this webinar today. But the main thing is I'm going to mathematically show you how to turn the tables, how to use the bank systems to your advantage for once. So now here's some interest facts for you. Over 100% of your mortgage is interest. And don't take my word for it. Feel free. Take a look at your loan documents. Always educate yourself in everything that you do. Here's another interest fact for you. 34% of your entire lifetime income is spent in interest alone. Now, what I really wonder is how much of our money is going to taxes? How much is going to state and federal? And the kicker for me a few years back was who bailed them out? They're charging us all this interest between credit cards, auto loans, student loans, even more so our biggest debt ever, which is our mortgage. And as our money sits in our checking account and savings account, they're investing it every single night, receiving a huge return. What do we get? Do we get a thank you card? Absolutely not. All we get is interest, interest, interest. And then they turn around, go to the American people and say, we need help. We need you to bail us out. Well, we're beyond that now, but the thing is we can now create our own economy. It is absolutely possible. I've done it, and I know tens of thousands of my students that have done it. It's time for you to do it. Now, back to talking about interest, okay, is that there's two different types of loans, really. You have a open-end loan and you have a closed-end loan. A mortgage is a closed-end loan, and it is also compound interest. Compound interest, I want you guys to look at it this way. Financial cancer. I want everyone to say that. A mortgage is financial cancer. Okay? Your money just goes away and you don't have access to it. I mean, you already saw we're paying over 100% in interest. It's ridiculous. Also, the payment is applied only one time per month. Once you make your mortgage payment, that's it. You see, because we can pay money in, but we cannot withdraw money out. It's a one-way street. And that's where everyone has the misconception of, well, that's okay. In a couple of years, I'm just going to refinance. I'm going to pull some money out and do some renovation around my yard or inside my house, or maybe buy a toy. The thing is, there's other ways to do that, especially when you have the equity. Open up a simple interest home equity line. I'm going to talk a lot about that here in just a few more minutes. Now, the interest on a mortgage is calculated on the month-end balance, okay? And it's also driven by that amortization schedule. Now, how were we taught to manage our money? Okay, were we ever taught how to cancel interest? I don't think so. I don't remember it. We were never taught how to cancel interest. We were never taught to be entrepreneurs. We were never taught to become successful. We were never truly taught how to be happy, healthy, independent, and free. The way that we were taught to manage our money is that we work hard, We deposit our incomes into our checking account, and the money just sits and it's stagnant. And it's what I call collecting dust. It's waiting to pay bills. So the money just sits there until it's time to make our mortgage payment. Of course, we got to pay the rest of our debt, our auto loans, our credit card debts, even our student loans, and healthcare. Well, healthcare is a big issue right now, and it's having a huge effect on a lot of people, especially small business owners, etc. And whatever's left over at the end of the month is either spent or it remains in our checking account or we transfer it over into savings. But with my experience is that most people that I have encountered worldwide as I'm working coaching with people is that no one really knows what to do with their money. No one is putting it in a position of leverage. We're not putting it into a place where it's working for us. We're storing it in places where it's working for the bank. Okay, and there's no budget in place. And the word budget scares so many people. A budget's a wonderful thing. What if you can design the quality of life using financial engineering? You can design the quality of life that you choose to live, and that will not change. But yet, we're going to pay off all that debt in a fraction of the time. But again, I can prove it to you mathematically, because always remember, liars can figure, but figures never lie. So let's take a look at one method. Okay, I have hundreds of different strategies that I use for all of our different students and clients. Okay, first thing I want to say is that you do not need a home equity line or any line of credit to qualify for our program. You do not need to have a good credit score to qualify for our program. In fact, a lot of you are going to be in the credit Halo. A lot of you are going to be, working with Halo on a lot of different other levels, and it all ties together. It all ties in to this powerful system here. So, using a line of credit method, there's a way that you can change the way that you manage your money to where it's reducing the amount of debt, it's canceling interest, but the thing that I'm more concerned about is I want my money liquid. I don't want to put all my money someplace where I cannot access it. So that way, if I see a good investment, I want to be able to tap into that. I want to be able to access my money and focus on living a better, happier, healthy, independent, free lifestyle and focus on investing and creating other sources of revenue. So now a line of credit is a great way to leverage. Okay, there's a way that you can leverage the debt that you already have. You see, most of us have the tools that we need to become successful, independent, happy, healthy, free. But the thing is we do not understand it because, again, we were not taught that. That's the purpose of today's call. Now, a line of credit is the opposite of a mortgage. It is an open-end loan. It is simple interest, not compound. Because remember, compound interest is cancer. Simple interest is an open-end line of credit that is leverageable. So for those of you that have a credit line, you might have a business line of credit or a personal line or a home equity line. Well, there's ways that we could bank differently. And I'm just going over one basic strategy. Our program is not all about credit lines. I want to get that very clear to you guys. But the main thing is I'm going to put you in a position to where you will have equity. You will be in a position of financial leverage. And I'm going to show you how to blow all that debt out of the water. Okay, so it's an open-end loan, and the lender will apply the money to the loan balance whenever they receive it. Not at the end of the month like a mortgage. It's based on your average daily balance, not the month-end balance. So that means that the lender will adjust the principal amount daily. We can pay money in, we can withdraw money out just like a checking account. It's a two-way street, not a one-way street, a two-way street. Now, I don't know about you. I'm a visual person. I like to see, touch, smell, feel. Is when I get all of my senses engaged, that's when I'm able to truly understand something. Okay, so I created a little illustration for you guys, and I hopefully it'll make sense. So let's just say that we have a family here that has, let's just say that they have a home equity line. It could be a personal line, or it could be a debt that you have. This could even work with a credit card. Okay, but so we all have debt. That's why we're on this call. Let's focus on leveraging it. Let's see what we can do to eliminate that payment, put our money to work, and to pay it off in record time. So now this family here, let's just say they have I don't know, let's just say they have a $100,000 home equity line of credit and they owe $80,000. Well, instead of our money sitting in our checking and savings doing absolutely nothing, why not slide it over? Why not just transfer it over into the home equity line? And what's going to happen is it's going to reduce that average daily balance. You see, so the lender's going to look at all of your income as a payment. So here's an example. Pretend you have a bowl of water. It's filled with red ink. You have a dry sponge in your right hand. You take that sponge, put it inside the bowl of the water, and pull the sponge out. Now look at the water level in that bowl. You will see it is greatly reduced because that sponge absorbed the debt and that sponge canceled interest. But yet all of our money is still liquid and accessible to turn around and to pay off our credit cards every month, to make our mortgage payment, and to pay all of our bills and expenses. So it works the same way as a checking account, but now we're putting our money to work for ourselves. Okay, it is powerful, so powerful. Okay, and it's also the same process the Fortune 500 companies utilize. This is how they manage their money, including all of the real estate investors that I work with worldwide. Okay, so we deposit our income in, and we could pay our bills and expenses out. Now, our system is also based on the most powerful software program that I have ever seen in my life. It is phenomenal. Okay, so it will take a look at how much money is coming in, and it's going to look at when funds need to be made available for your different bills and expenses, and it's going to determine when to borrow money in this scenario, because remember I'm only going over one scenario out of hundreds or thousands, but it's going to prompt us when to pull money out of the simple interest home equity line of credit and apply it toward the compound interest mortgage. So let's just say that our money management system tells us to transfer $3,675 and apply it toward the principal of the mortgage. Well, by doing so, saved us $17,249 in compound interest in our mortgage and reduced our mortgage by approximately 22 mortgage payments. Okay, and then the money comes right back in, replenishes it. And so to borrow that money to cancel over 17 grand and save approximately 22 years off your mortgage, your investment was only $68. But yet you don't even feel it because by managing your cash flow into and out of the credit line, everything just absorbs itself. It is absolutely a phenomenal way to bank. Now again, a lot of you may not have equity. A lot of you may be upside down. Some of you may not even own a home. I'm just going over one technique, okay? But that's where we need to take a look at all of your debt, take a look at your assets, and create a personalized plan. A personalized plan for you, so that way you can get out of debt in record time. This is one of many different strategies. Now, my Accelerator Halo, I came across the perfect analogy several years back when I was speaking at a seminar. And it's basically this. How many people, excuse me, how many people out there on this call, and I want you to raise your hands if you would please, how many people on this call have a GPS in their car or in their cell phone? I mean, just about all of us, right? Every one of us has a smartphone. Yep, there goes the hands, exactly. Feel free to lower your hands, guys. Okay, so we all have a GPS. Why do we have a GPS? Okay, I'm pretty confident, because I live in California, I'm pretty confident that I could probably drive to Canada without a road map and get to where I'm going. But if I had a GPS in place, I know that I'm not going to run out of gas because I know exactly where the gas station's at. I know that I'm taking the very fastest route to get to my final destination. I know that this powerful system, the GPS, is going to take me where I got to go as fast as I can, saving the most money, gas mileage, etc. My Accelerator Halo does the exact same thing for you financially. Okay, so just imagine for a second, any time that a bill, expense, a mortgage payment, vacation, anniversary, your Christmas budget, anything. Any time that you need money available, everything is pre-planned, accounted for. You don't have to put money under the mattress. You don't have to make sure that we put the proper money aside to cover our taxes, our income taxes, our property taxes. Everything will go on autopilot. So what does that do? If we never have to worry about money management, and we have this powerful financial GPS to where if we have a financial traffic jam, because we all know life happens, it will automatically create a new alternate roadmap around that traffic jam. Okay? Just like your car, but except for your finances. Okay, so when I have a GPS in place, I know for a fact, beyond a shadow of a doubt, what my arrival time is going to be, how much time I'm going to save, the whole 9 yards. This is exactly what my Accelerator Halo is, but for your finances. So let's go back to what I initially said. We like to live a happy, healthy, independent, free lifestyle. Now, if you no longer had to worry about money management, and you know that your bills are covered no matter what, you know you're going on vacation at a specific date, you know that your children are taken care of when it comes to college, how is that going to change your physiology? How is that going to change your stress levels, your health? How is it going to affect your relationships? Not just with your children, but with your spouse or partner. So it truly is life transforming when you no longer have financial stress and worries. Now, I wanted to share with you, it's really hard to see, I apologize for that, but this is a student of mine that I've been working with for quite a bit, and they have a lot of debt. Actually, they have $1.5 million worth of debt. They have student loans, credit cards, they have personal loans, a solar panel loan. They also have a mortgage with a balance of $937,000. Okay, excuse me. So this is a person that has a lot of debt, obviously. They're scheduled, worst case scenario, to become 100% debt free in 8.54 years, saving a total of $630,000 in interest. Okay, and this is not something that is made up. This is a snapshot per the approval of the client of their overall view of where they're headed. You see, our sophisticated software program will give you an overview. So week after week, as you're spending your money, as money comes and goes, the numbers readjust, and it's always going to show you where you're headed. So that way you know how your money's having an impact. Okay, so worst case scenario, without any financial leverage, without leveraging the equity, because see, once all the debt on the right side of my screen, that's all the bad unsecured debt. That's your credit cards, auto loans, student loans, etc., etc. Once that debt is gone, which is just going to be in the matter of just, actually, it looks like they're scheduled here for 2014. Okay, and they enrolled back in 2012. So they're doing not too bad, to be honest with you. Excuse me. So, if you take a look, once we start paying down the mortgage, and let's just say once the mortgage is halfway paid off, and if the property values do continue to increase as they have been, you could use your house to pay off your house. So if we focus on eliminating your bad debt, that helps your debt to income ratios, so if you want to invest or anything else. But then also, as we're paying down the mortgage, once we get to that point, we could open up a simple interest home equity line of credit and pay off your first mortgage. So you could use your house to pay off your house. And what that'll do is eliminate your mortgage payment, which for this family is over $5,000. Absolutely phenomenal. And here's where it gets better. Now that we have done that, we can leverage that home equity line of credit, because remember, we can deposit our incomes in. The lender looks at that as an entire payment. All the money's liquid and accessible. But even more importantly, you won't have a payment to the home equity line of credit. Why? They're looking at all of your income as a payment. So that means that just freed up an additional $5,000 plus a month of cash flow. Absolutely phenomenal. So again, all of this debt being paid off, worst case scenario, in 8.54 years, saving almost $750,000. And in this graph, this is actually still off the same family. I was able to take a snapshot of their software. Before they had entered into our program, they were looking at just paying off their mortgage, not the rest of their debt, but just their mortgage in 28 years. Now they're paying off their mortgage and all of that debt, the $1.5 million worth of debt, in under 9 years without strategy. You see, software doesn't have strategy, but then I'm going to be working with all of you in a group level, teaching you strategies, walking you through step by step, so that way we can take 9 years and ultimately turn into 6 years. Because, folks, it is possible. It is proven. It's even proven by NBC. Now, first of all, let's see what the Accelerator Halo is not. First of all, it is not a refinance or biweekly payments. It is way much more powerful than biweekly. Also, we do not handle your money. We never need your social security number or any of your account numbers. You will always be in 100% control of your finances at all times. And also, I keep on stating this, you do not have to qualify for a home equity line of credit or any other line of credit. Every single client or student they're on a different plan because we all come from different walks of life and we all have different goals. The main thing is we're going to mathematically achieve every single one of those, because remember, common sense threw us into a frenzy back in 2007. Now it's time to use math. It's time to know where we're going and why we're going to get there, how we're going to get there. And from now on, before you ever sign a loan document, you're going to have a mathematical reason why you're signing it. You're going to know why you're signing it, and you're going to know exactly what the end result is going to look like. Now here's what your Accelerator Halo will do for you. Again, money will always be made available to pay any expense, bills, vacations, mortgage payments. You will no longer have to worry about, can I afford this? Can we afford vacation? I mean, here's a good question. I'm going to see by a show of hands. How many of you have not taken a vacation in over 2 years? Wow, I see most people's hands going up. Now, what if we were able to take vacations every year, live the lifestyle that we financially engineer, the lifestyle that we design, and then it doesn't change? So then you're living the quality life you want, you're happy, you're healthy, you're independent, and you're free. And you no longer have to worry about money management. Okay? Just remember, that's something that we all want, that we all desire. And it's time to focus on living a better lifestyle, not from seeing a doctor, but by getting our finances under control and watch everything just kind of fall into place. And I am speaking from my own experience. Also, you will have real financial security and certainty. How many of us really have financial security and certainty? I know where I'm headed. I'm already there. But no matter what, no matter how much money I earn, I put my money to work for me. I keep my lifestyle the same as I engineered, so that way my money can focus on creating a legacy of wealth. Not a legacy of debt, but a legacy of wealth. Real financial security and certainty. So that way you'll have payoff dates on all of your debt. You will know where you're headed financially, guiding you step by step, 24/7 on a live financial freedom platform. So that means your debt management system, your financial halo, is accessible from anywhere on the planet. You're able to manage your finances. Tablet, Android, iPhone, laptop, doesn't matter. All you need is internet access. Also is that you do receive free customer support and also wealth webinars. The main thing is you're not going to be alone. This isn't something that you're going to enroll into and then you got to figure out. Okay, you will never be alone anymore, and you're going to have math to back it up. This will also not affect your credit score except for the better. Why? We're eliminating debt. Your debt to income ratio is going to get better and better month after month. Your entire life will have an improvement. So it's really important. Let's start enjoying the lifestyle that you design and that you deserve. Okay, and also I want to throw this in there. The average client saves over $200,000 in interest. Can you imagine having $200,000 in your pocket right now? What would you do? It's a fun thought. I like that. Now, here's a few things that you will need. Okay, I'm going to offer everybody on this call, everyone watching this, a free financial strategy session where you're going to have a customized plan for you and your family that is tailored specifically for you, guiding you completely out of debt and also on the road to wealth building. So a few things that you will need. First of all, is you will need to book a financial strategy session. I have everything I do is automated, so there's going to be a link I'll show you here in just a minute, but you'll need to book a financial strategy session. You pick a date and a time that'll work best for you. You'll also need to either print out or fill out the online form at least one day prior to your session. I say even sooner to make sure you didn't leave anything out. And what that form needs is just basically what's your income, your debt, your expenses, etc. But remember, we don't need a social security number or account numbers because all of that is irrelevant to us. You will also need high-speed internet for our appointment because our appointment is going to be web-based. It's going to be a private webinar between ourselves, between me or my staff and yourself. Also, allow 1 hour for the call. It could take up to 1 hour. And it's very, very important to have your significant other or business partner present. You must have income to qualify. So you must have income such as wages, commissions, alimony, social security, unemployment, inheritance, investments. Also need to know how much liquid cash you have on hand as well. All of that will be on the questionnaire. Okay, and you also have to have debt or mortgages. So in order to qualify, you obviously have to have an income, you have to have debt. That's simple. And in most cases, basically, you need to have more money coming in than going out, even if it's $50. As long as you have more money coming in than going out, we could work our magic, create that plan, and get you out of debt in record time. So here's your next step. Your next step is to book that free financial strategy session. I need you guys to do it right now. We're waiving the $300 fee to meet with the financial specialist. It's going to be free for you since you're on this call and watching this. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to click the link directly below the webinar. Write down your promotional code, which is going to be Halo. That's your promotion code. And schedule the appointment. It's all automated. Once you go to my calendar system, it'll all make sense. Okay, so make sure you schedule the appointment. Your special promotion code is Halo. Make sure that you print out or complete the online web form that asks about your financials. And again, your session is free. You're under no obligation. But the most important thing is by the end of our call, you're going to know exactly what your cash flow looks like. And a lot of people are going to be surprised, whether if it's good or bad. You're going to know exactly where you're headed financially, and if all you did was take notes, you will have a financial plan. Okay, and again, we are waiving that $300 fee. So ladies and gentlemen, that is my Accelerator Halo. There's so much more I can go into, how it tracks investment accounts, etc., etc. I want to keep it simple, and I'd rather show you personally. Okay, we all have different concerns. We all have questions as of this point. We all have different desires and where we want to head financially. And what we're going to do is we're going to put that together and we're going to make that happen. So again, I want you to click below. This is what the button looks like. It'll say book now. Book your appointment. Print out that form, and I will give you a call within 15 to 20 minutes of our appointment time. And one last thing is that I'm in the state of California. So for those of you that are on the East Coast, that means you're 3 hours ahead of me. For those of you in Hawaii, you're 3 hours behind me. So just keep in mind of our time zone difference. Other than that, I look forward to working with you. I look forward to helping you to not only eliminate your debt, not only to build wealth, but I want to ensure that you are going to live happy, healthy, independent, and free. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Shane Jackman. I appreciate your time, and I can't wait to see you on my calendar. Have a blessed day.